Evening all, welcome to another exciting episode of Ought to Know Better, Berardi and Coke for the Cardiff game, which by all accounts has been an absolute thriller of a match for everybody involved. We will get to it, and I will run as an intro when it lets me.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Leeds are shit.
We're recording, you know.
Oh, shit.
We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute bellend.
I think about things, that's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
The absolute elite shithousery of this.
That's why you lot are idiot. I love that.
You're some of them, Jay, man. Jesus.
You what, mate?
You're rare on some of them.
It's different in every clip. It's different in every clip.
It's worse now. Have you seen the back of his head?
How dare you?
I'll see
How dare you? It's fucking ace. It's brilliant. Mate, you got to just, change it up sometimes. Can't just be boring and, Gilly can't do out with his, so he's just jealous.
Mate, I've got 15 hats here. It's fine.
Yeah, you're covered, to be fair. So how are we all feeling? I mean, a win's a win. No one seems massively over the moon, but it's a 2-0 win and could and should have been more.
It was all
how are you feeling about it, Johnny? Are you happy or are you doom and gloom?
Yeah.
Happy clapping?
Yeah, happy clapping all the way. It's just for like a bog standard professional performance, really, I thought. Just got the job done.
Yeah.
I know people was crying when we win 17-0. But I suppose all right, if you just do what you got to do, you get the same amount of points for winning 3-0 or 45-0, don't you? So
you get more goal difference for one, though.
Yeah, you do, yeah, but it's
before Gilly says it.
All right, maybe I am.
I thought it was all right. It was a box standard. It's boring at times, yeah. I can see where people was getting from, but
do you think it was just a case of they didn't need to be any better?
Yeah, they didn't need, especially straight after the sending off. That was it. The game was done. I thought, but it was a no contest after that. I thought.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty fair, I guess, Gilly. But we don't want them to think the job's done, do we? At any point, not for me anyway. I don't want to see that.
Well, yes and no. I think if what you're going to do is take the shackles off and play with a bit of freedom, then fine. If what you're going to do is think literally the job's done, all we're doing is going through the motions, then that's the wrong thing, and that's how that's a lack of professionalism, and that's where you're starting to think if we're going to come up against a better side, then we're going to come unstuck. So there's two ways to read that, and I think as with everything, there's two sides to any of it. But I think for me, it is difficult because we were so totally dominant. I mean, we've seen off another gaffer. I don't know if you've seen that, but they've their manager. Yeah, another one.
No, I didn't. I'd not seen that. No.
Yeah, he's gone.
Like a Grim Reaper, aren't we?
So we knew that going into the game that it was unlikely. Only an idiot, and I'll let Smarty talk about that tomorrow night. But only an idiot backed against Leeds going into this game. Or somebody that's just been poisoned by what Leeds have done in the past against sides that they should be battering. But going into it, they've been absolutely abject. They've scored one goal in 5-6 games, 1 point. They've been woeful, and we went into it not in the best form we've ever been. But we were in the playoff spots, and they were dead bottom of the league. So on balance, you expect it to be something that we're going to go in there, we're going to dominate. And we did, but and some of the stats are absolutely unreal. I don't know how much you've had a chance to have a look at them. I know you've been away, but and I've got the momentum stat that will pop up in a bit, and it is just incredible.
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, but ultimately, when you come up against a side that's the worst side in the league, objectively up to this point in the season, the worst side in the league, down to 10 men. On the one hand, a few of us are going, "Fucking hell, it's Wigan." But on the other hand, you're going, right, okay, well, time to make hay while the sun shines. Let's absolutely steamroller them. Take that into your next game. benefit your goal difference, and you
Yeah.
know, let's set ourselves up for the season. And so I get what Johnny's saying. You get 3 points regardless for a win, but it felt to me almost like a little bit of a missed opportunity to really lay down a marker.
Yeah, we could have done with goals.
Yeah, and do you know, I was just going to say, do you know, we're so not reliant, but it's so important that Mateo Joseph gets going. That, you know, if he'd have picked himself up a couple, you're thinking, you know, going into next game, he's on a high. Now it's Pirot's come on, he's got himself a goal. Does Joseph get dropped? Even though he's played the majority of the game and we've won, you're thinking, does there need to be a personnel change there because Pirot's come to finish the game? And it just brings in those questions. Whereas if you've steamrolled them, nobody's saying,
No.
Yeah, no one cares about like little points if we've steamrolled them.
No, I would have let him take the penalty. I would have let him take the penalty, mate, Joseph. But then again, it was 1-0, wasn't it? You know, mate. So
it was 1-0. It was 1-0, and Stroik hadn't missed one for us.
No,
you know, I think he'd only taken a couple, but he'd not missed one, and it looked like he wasn't bothering him at all. I mean, it were a really poor pen, wasn't it? But ultimately, all you can go on, you know, Click looked like he were going to be a penalty taker for us forever. He looked like he was never going to miss one, but even Click missed a couple. But you know, he always looked like he was in control. I thought, you know, I were a centre half and I took pens and I didn't miss them. But the benefit of a centre half stepping up and taking it is you fucking wallop it. Put your boot through it, just pick a side and smash it. So it's really disappointing actually to see him step up and take it like he did.
Should have gone all Peter Case, didn't he?
Yeah,
should have done a Panenka. I'd have loved to have seen Stroik do a Panenka. God.
I'm not against him taking it. You know, he had a good record up to that, so I'm absolutely not against him taking it. And do you know what? When he stepped up to take it, you're really looking at the side going, who the fuck is going to have the next one? And he stepped up. Fair play to him. I have no issue at all with that.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, he seems to be a fairly decent penalty taker, but I did have a point on this later on I was going to come to, but we'll talk about it now. And it's just, should he take him ahead of Pirot if they're both on the pitch, or is Pirot still the man?
No, I think Pirot's best for me.
Yeah, because I don't know what the official order is now with Farke.
I don't know what Farke's mind would be on it, but for me, you know, Pirot's the most natural goal scorer I think we've got.
For me, it's Pirot. Pirot. And
after
on
Patrick Bamford, of course.
No, well, obviously. Yeah. on your point on Joseph, though, it's like I worry about him slightly, and that if he doesn't start getting goals very quickly now, people will start to get on his back because we're fickle. But he's done a lot right. It's just not going in for him. But then you'll get the same people that will say, "Oh well, Bamford does a lot for the team. He does all these good things." He'll then have a go at Joseph for not scoring goals. And that'll piss me off if that happens, because you can't have it both ways. This kid, I think, is capable of it. It's just not really fallen for him yet. He had the chance where the ball got played over the top to him, and he went in and he had that attempt. And I wish he'd have put that one away, because that would have been lovely.
Yeah,
he needs it.
He does all the work, Joseph. He works. He must tire defenders out.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He tends to be in the right places, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just needs that break. He needs one to go off his ass. You know what I mean? You know, just to get a little monkey off his back, like
banjo off a cow's ass.
Yeah,
that's what he needs. I mean, do you think he's going to come good, or do you think he might get dropped for Pirot because Pirot's scoring? How much time?
I think a lot of it depends on the opposition. Now, whether that's the way that Farke looks at it or not, I don't know. But I think a lot of it depends on the opposition. For me, when it comes to a side like Cardiff, you can pick and choose what you want your outcome to be. I think we've picked Joseph there because we're desperate for him to get a goal and get up and running. Equally, you're not going to get pressed against Cardiff the way that you are some of the other teams in the division, and therefore, Pirot might be your option. I think it depends entirely on the opposition. You don't go into a Sheffield United or a Burnley with Pirot at 9 because you're not going to get from him what you get from Joseph.
No.
No, exactly. Is there a worry, Johnny, that he tries to shoehorn Pirro back into the 10 just because he scored some goals?
No, I don't think so. I think
You
with
don't?
I think Willis and Aronson have got that. I think them two like swapping and changing out there. But when you see the game, Aronson will start in the middle, and
Yeah.
Nonto will either wing. But then Nonto, the amount of times he's in the middle, and then Aronson goes wide. So I can't see it personally.
Okay. What do you think, Gilla? Do you think you might put him
in? So Johnny's right. There's been a bit of interchange between them. I would be. I don't think he will. And I think when you look at Aronson and the way that he plays, the energy is what he's looking for, because he doesn't have any quality at all. So he's looking for the energy and the press from him, because
nothing there.
Oh, abject, completely abject. He easily. Strike missed a penalty and still got rated better than Aronson. In all of the, he was absolutely abject. He gave the ball away 22 times in a single game. And
he does have those games, doesn't he?
He has those games. He has those games regularly. I think his best fixture so far for us this season has been 16 giveaways, which is still high. But when you're giving it away 22 times against the worst side in the league, now he's got himself an assist. I mean, Pirro had a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but he's played the ball to Pirro and Pirro's finished it off, so that's an assist. I think when you look at that, you think, if you watch just highlights, you're thinking, well, he must have done all right. He's still on at the end of the game, and he's got himself an assist. Great.
Yeah.
But he were woeful. Really, really poor. And, when you look at the impact that Ramazani's had coming out, you're looking at that and you're thinking, well, if Dan James is back, I think Johnny's right to mention Nonto, because I don't think Pirro goes in at 10. I think Nonto might go in at 10 and Dan James on one wing and Ramazani on the other.
I could see
obviously
that.
When Solomon's not available, because he obviously was out, so question marks around his availability. So there's quite a lot. I mean, the good thing is, when everybody's fit, there's quite a lot of competition. I think the problem that we've got, if you look at the bench at the weekend, we had Pirro, we had Bamford on the bench, and those were attacking options. We didn't have a backup winger at all.
No.
There was nobody. So the problem that you've got is if Ramazani has I think that's his first start for us, and you're looking at him, you're looking at Nonto, and if one of them has any kind of niggle or knock and they're not sure about it and they want him to start on bench, then Pirro's in at 10, because you've got nothing else and Aronson's going to have to go out and wing. Yeah.
You're probably right there, to be fair. Probably right there.
So a lot of it might be what we're forced into. Yeah, if you look down the bench, I've got it in front of me, you had Bamford, Charlie Crew, Di Beo, Darlow, Tanaka, Rothwell, Schmidt, Pirro and Byram. Now, as a bench, so we made 5 subs. So we brought Tanaka, Rothwell, Schmidt, Pirro, and Byram on. Pirro's got a goal.
Yeah.
In terms of the attacking, you're thinking, well, he's made some changes and we've got a goal from one of the subs. Job done.
Yeah.
But we didn't need to change a game. We just needed to finish off one of the chances that we're creating. Who have we got there that can come on and change a game?
Yeah.
Not much, is there?
No. When you look at it like that, it's like, should we vote another striker? In the window,
or a 10.
Definitely got a 10.
The 10 that Thacker asked for.
It's anytime now we're struggling with forwards and availability and stuff, it's the 10 that seems to suffer.
And that's going to be the question asked all season, isn't it?
It is, and there's nobody who can come in there and be a dedicated, established 10 who's got a track record of doing it. We've got players who might be okay in there, who might be able to do a good job, but you don't want to be chancing things like that when you're supposed to be going for winning the league or getting promoted or anything, do you? You want to know that you've got the right people in the right places. You want to know when you've got a fit squad, everyone's strong out there. You're not shoehorning anyone in any position, but we are kind of stuck with that to a degree. I think Willie's got it in him to play 10, but whether it's his best position, I'm not sure. I mean, what do you think, Johnny?
I think he can do it. Because he's like real low gravity, isn't he? It's like he don't get knocked off the ball a lot, does he? For the size he is, like, but it's the creativity in it. I think that's what we're really, really missing. I think like we hadn't done it. We had one since Pablo's gone.
We don't have killer balls, do we? We don't have killer through balls.
No. I was watching some of the documentary, and some of the balls that Pablo used to play, just not even looking.
It just don't make sense, does it?
Look over season, like thinking nobody could do that now in our team. I don't think.
No.
But it's
Some of
still
them bangers they've scored as well.
the one to Dallas that just nobody saw.
Yeah.
And he ran through just completely all on his own because he just picked out the perfect pass that were perfectly weighted, perfect bend on it, and he didn't even have to break stride, and he's just thrown goal and scores it.
Yeah, that's what.
Like he could do that in his sleep, Pablo.
Yeah.
You don't find that very often, do you?
You don't. You absolutely don't.
It's just,
and you might not find it again. It was a joke. We were never going to get him. His name's just gone. Just as I've started saying it. Him that runs like this. That's gone to Arsenal from Chelsea. Sterling.
That's it.
Chelsea had made it really, really clear they didn't want him. Now, in ages past, the distance between the top division and the second division wasn't quite so great, and the spending power between the top division and so on. It wasn't that massive a difference, and any side looking to sign a player of that caliber is looking to get promoted, and you go sell the project. And we went and got Strachan, and it was in a similar fashion. It was a properly big signing at the time, and you're thinking, right, go make a statement signing, bring in a proper professional that's not going to take any half-arsedness. Not that I'm saying that that's what the players are doing. I think they're all working hard, but will be that consummate professional with all of the experience that they bring with them. Because that's another thing that I think that we are lacking at this point in time. It's not just the options, but the average age was 2 years younger than Cardiff, 3 years younger than Cardiff. It was 24. Our captain's 23. The experience that we've got, a lot of it is Melier, and he's 23, 24. Stroik has played a lot of games for us. So, that's another thing that actually, when you come up against a difficult opposition and you're finding it hard in certain games, that's when you rely on your experienced players to drag you through it. And
absolutely,
that's just another thing that, Tanaka's never played at this level. He's never played anything like this level. The best he's been at is the second tier of German football, which is not anything near the second tier of English football. We've got Darlow that you don't expect to play, Cairns that you don't expect to play. You've got De Bayo that's never played at this level. Crew was on the bench as well. We've got capable players, but not a lot backing it up, and I think that's part of it. But equally, if you've got somebody in that 10 that's picking the passes and that's looking like they're making a difference, and we struggled, we blew out on cold. I know we missed a penalty, but we blew out on cold in the game, even though we were so totally dominant. And I think since Opta began tracking possession stats, I think we've broken the record this weekend against Cardiff for possession.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
81.
Have? 80,
81, I think it was. I've got it somewhere. Oh no, that's who will win. 79% sofa score I've got, which is absolutely unreal
for the entire game. That's crazy.
Yeah. So you look at that and you're thinking we were so totally dominant. But I think if you've got somebody in there that's a 10 that's pulling the strings, that looks like they know what they're doing, he's not workmanlike, but he's pulling the strings and clearly dominating the game. That feels so totally different. And actually, you probably don't get a lot of the fan reaction that we did, because then all of a sudden you're not talking about a boring game.
No, that's it. And also, if you do have a player like that, it changes the game for the defenders on the other team as well, because if they're up against someone they know could put a pass anywhere, they have to be more alert. They have to be more looking around, which way is he going to go, sort of thing. And they can't leave guys and all bunch in one area, and it spreads them out because they're having to keep an eye on everyone. If you've got a guy who could put the ball anywhere, you know what I mean? And when you become a bit more predictable, because you don't have someone doing that, it harms you a little bit. And I noticed sort of early in the game, we had that bit, I think Willie played a little through ball on the edge of the box and Firpo put it across. And I've noticed we seem to be doing that a lot at the moment. We have like 2 or 3 guys all in the middle at the edge of the box, and they try to do a little interplay, and someone tries to put a through ball out to one at sides, one at wings. And it's, if we just had somebody really good at that, it would elevate our game massively, I think, because we're trying to do that. We're not quite good enough, but we're trying. The ideas are good, the ideas are right, but you need that Pablo type player to really bring that to life for me.
You need somebody just to put that perfect little ball through like,
someone who can do those little weighted passes or a little zippy little through ball along turf. Just we need someone like that, and it were a missed chance for me not getting someone.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And when your manager's asked for one,
the fact that we're like 4 or 5 games in or something, we're still talking about this. Do you know what I mean? It's going to go on all season.
He told the recruitment staff he
asked for a 10, but he didn't ask for Tanaka.
Get ready for them to leaving, and he knew that he was going to need somebody, and they're just not.
I'd like to know if there ever was a plan to get one and it just didn't work out, or if they were just saying, "No, we're going to do this, this, and this." We'll never know. We'll never know. But, Clive's saying it's down to the manager, all of it. Like when we had Pablo, didn't even make the playoffs. People forget that. It's in large part down to the manager, but you still need players that have a certain level of natural talent to be able to get certain things out of them.
There's my graph. You tell me that.
Bloody hell. Jesus Christ.
You tell me that is about the manager.
Good God.
I heard on, I think maybe a square ball, and they only had 2 touches in our box the whole game.
Yeah. And we have 37 in theirs.
Yeah, 2 touches.
It's bad. It's weird, isn't it? Because we're doing all this, we're getting all this momentum, all this possession. We were like that against Burnley. We just couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
And it's all a bit like, we didn't win, and everyone's doom and gloom. It is crap that we didn't win the game. It sucks, it's always shit if we don't win. But I think people are forgetting that we did play really well in that game.
Against Burnley?
Yeah. So it's not like we're on this terrible run where we're playing shit every week or anything. We played well against them. We just didn't get the job done. We were unlucky. We maybe didn't play as well against Cardiff, but did get the job done, and people are still not happy.
Yeah. If Jones puts that chance away, it's a completely different game.
Absolutely. And that's the thing with him, I think, where we need him to get that goal. I know he's had one, but we need him to get another one. We need him to start sort of feeling like he's the man.
Tell you what, Clive, he's an happy chap, isn't he? He's real fun.
He's very happy, is Clive, yeah. Smarty gets on really well with him.
Oh, here we go. He's disagreeing with you. We were rubbish against Burnley.
In what world were we rubbish? We dominated the game. Clive. The finishing was rubbish. And we had some lapses in defence, but the entire game, as an overall picture, we bossed 80% of it.
Yeah,
we should have won that game.
I think Steve makes a good point here. When Cardiff went down to 10, did we still need 2 CDMs on the pitch? Could have brought on Tanaka early to add more to our attack.
Yeah,
and I think that is a fair point. If you are already in a position where you're dominating a game and then your opponent goes down to 10, it's less likely. Now, El Ghazi could have scored quite easily. Melia made a good save from that, but he could have quite easily put that away. Burnley did that to us, didn't they? Burnley caught us on the break after a mistake, and they finished it. Yeah, and it was a good finish. It went through Bogle's legs. It was in bottom corner. So that can happen. And so when you consider it in that sort of respect, it's less likely they're going to score against you when you're so totally dominant, but not impossible.
Yeah.
But Tanaka's still a midfielder. It's not like we would have been sacrificing a midfielder or a defender for an attacker. He's still a
No.
midfielder. So, it felt to me like you could be a bit more adventurous in that sort of respect without losing too much in defence and too much of your shape. And for me, that was a little bit late that those changes were made. But ultimately, it's a results game. Now, I know, Johnny, you've been in the trenches a little bit on this one in terms of the results and the comment you made about you get the same number of points I'd seen you make on Twitter. I think there is an additional element in that Bielsa taught us that it's not always just about the result. It's about the entertainment as well. But ultimately, if we don't get the result in terms of the context of the season this season, we're not going to get the good football next season because all the talent will be gone.
Yeah.
So you've got to take it in that context as well.
I think there's that much pressure for us to go up this year. I think it's just fucking results first. I think personally, yeah, we all want to play like in Bielsa's team, but we can't. It's not the same manager. He's completely different to Barker, I think. And it's like,
totally,
absolutely different. Yeah,
it's like you're not gonna get perfect performances every week. It's impossible.
And the likelihood is the better the results they get, the better the performance increases over time.
You get that momentum.
That's it. Momentum.
Get momentum. That's it. But one of these games we'll wipe the floor with somebody.
Arthur Bushby says Farker out, Big Sam in.
I'm not taking that seriously for 1 second.
I think he's pulling something there.
That's a big fish.
Just a quick one for you. I have seen some comments. I mean, the FL72 and whatever else have got a vested interest in just trying to get clicks, and they all target the Leeds fan base because they know that they're going to get some traction from what it is that they're saying. But I mean, quite aside from the Guardian running a piece on the fact that we ought to get rid of a pint and make it 2/3 of a pint, and I'm not having any of that fucking shit at all.
Excuse me?
Oh yeah.
That could go on shit take of the week this week. You don't, that surpasses everything.
I think when you consider, do you know what? That comment has just got me again. It's so enraged me. I can't deal with it again.
Which one?
The one about the 2/3 of a pint. Just how can you just let people have fucking fun? I like a pint. If you don't like a pint, fine. It goes back to would it Ricky Gervais? Yeah, but she said, well, I've gone too quickly. I need something in between. I don't care what you need. Is it Ricky Gervais about I don't want fucking guitar lessons? That's not for you then, is it? It's off. Anyway, sorry. I did digress slightly. I have seen those traction-looking accounts intimating, suggesting that he want a red card. Now, this is a mental take to me. Am I completely down the rabbit hole?
I was going to ask you about this. I was going to ask whether you guys thought it was a harsh red card or a just red card. I was going to ask you on this.
By the rules, it's a red card. It would have been better giving away a penalty because anyone got sent off.
Yeah, it would have done.
But I think what people are looking at is the fact that Willie got up so quick. It was up instantly, wasn't it? Then he actually found him again as he got to the close.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he dragged him over, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think for me, it's a stonewaller, absolute stonewaller. It's red every time. And to be fair, if a red is given that goes in our favour, you know that it's absolutely a red because we never get anything from the rest. But if we take our biased shades off and whatever else, I think when you look at it, so there's nobody coming around on the cover, and there's contact, and he doesn't make contact with the ball. Now,
Ian Ward says it were harsh.
I would like somebody to give me some context around where the harsh bit comes in, because there's contact made on the player with the ball, there's no contact made on the ball, and there's no defenders on the cover. So
yeah.
So for me, I think it was Macca that showed it. I said, and I hold my hands up when I do get it wrong. It doesn't happen often, but I hold my hands up when I do. I'd said the ref should pull it back straight away, because if you're giving a red card, you've got to make sure that you give the red card immediately. but there is an element to the rules that says unless there is a clear goal scoring chance, and there absolutely was, because Willie was still running through. He was straight back up, bounced straight back up. And fair play to Willie, because he does get some stick sometimes for going down too easy too often, and then moaning about it. He bounced straight back up, and he were on it, and he were doing what he could to keep going for goal, didn't he? Yeah. So I think, but I mean, it's an absolute stone wall. I would love a conversation with somebody that's got a view on it that's different. Just to understand where they're coming from, because I can't see any argument against it. I can't. Usually, you can see there's nuances and whatever else. I just can't see it. Yeah, he's run across him. He's taken him out. He's not got ball, and it's last man.
I think I've got it here. We'll just have a quick look at it since we're talking about it. Just give me a sec.
Well, while you're doing that, there's two elements of context, and Steve Brown's just mentioned one. If you've played in the 80s, you absolutely don't think that's a red card. But it's a different game now. Like it or not, it's a different game now, and it just is. But the other element is around the level of contact and the position that we're in, and the fact that the ref did play on and then pulled it back. I think that's an element that people have got in the mind of, well, he should pull it back immediately if that's the case. That's what I thought. And Maka pointed out that there is an element in the laws to allow it to proceed if there is a clear goal scoring chance. Until such a time as there's not, then you blow up and then you do the regular.
Which is what he seemed to have done for me.
Yeah.
Which we don't often see decent refereeing decisions, do we? We're not used to that.
Don't get me wrong, he wasn't good. He just got right.
I know. But it's small mercies, isn't it? I'll just put this up there. We'll just have a quick look at it.
Yeah.
He's kicked him and he's put his hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So for me, that's got to be a penalty, hasn't it?
You've probably stopped
like the contact.
Monetize this, by the way.
I thought that, but that's why I only played it for a few seconds. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
bang. That's got to be a penalty.
And then pulls him back again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I've not finished with you yet. You're not getting away. It's like he doesn't care at that point. He thinks he's got away with one and just goes for it again.
Yeah.
Ed's gone there.
And do you know, I don't know if you remember, Paddy once didn't get a decision and he got up and he went to ref like that and he said, "Do you need me to dive?" Now, Paddy had already had shit for diving, and he's like, clearly he's been fouled. Do you need me to dive? Is that what you're asking me to do? So, it's good to say when a referee gets it right, especially when a player's not thrown himself to the floor. And we can touch on Bogle, because I thought that were horrible, because that was a fucking dive and he got rightly booked for it. But ultimately he would have won the penalty. And I tell you what, to be in that position again and for him to behave in the way that he did, having been fouled because he was the second time round, that took some balls on the part of Bogle. I thought he did quite well there. But for me, absolute stonewall penalty. I can't even conceive of the idea that somebody might think it's not.
No, I just on the one on Nonto there, I said it's a penalty. I meant red card, not a penalty. Someone's just pulled me up on that, I think. I meant red card. I'm not, mate. I'm full of cold and I'm just soldering on here. It's not. It can't be any worse than it normally is when I'm hosting. So
it's not a week's worth of hangover, is it?
It's not, mate. It's not. I wish it was. I wish it was. So moving on from that, we'll whip through a few bits from the game because we've waffled a bit here. But I really liked Ramazani's goal. It was a nice composed finish for me, and he had time to think about it, and he clearly didn't overthink it. He picked what he was going to do, and he did it. And I liked that. And I liked his little celebration as well. But I did think, don't fucking hurt yourself.
Did you see Willie's follow-up?
I didn't know.
Willie did a cartwheel after him and then nearly fell over.
He were going to go for a flip and then thought, nah.
Yeah.
It was just more of a standard cartwheel, and then he nearly went over again.
That's great. I love it. I love when daft stuff like that just happens off the cuff. But I mean, it were a nice goal, wasn't it, Johnny?
It was. We see the angle from behind him.
It looks difficult, doesn't it, from the other side?
The way he curls it, it's like. But how many people called him shit when he did that air shot? About a minute before.
Well, I know, yeah, I know. But you got a bit of bounce back from stuff like that, haven't you?
Yeah.
And for me, that's a sign of a good player. He's obviously got his head screwed on the fact he can just put that behind him and then go through and do that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want somebody who gets phased eagerly. You want somebody who's resilient.
Well, that's it. That's when you all of the England stuff with Eileen Drury and everything else aside, faith healing and all of that sort of stuff. No, mentality is a massive, massive part of professional sport, all sport. And being able to make a mistake and then go, do you know what? Can't change that. It's gone. And then just crack on and play it in the same way you would have done. That's a strong mentality. And do you know what? We've got a heavy shirt. So we need players that have got that mentality. And I like seeing that.
Did you think their keeper could have maybe done a bit more for that goal? He didn't seem to really move, did he?
I think their keeper kept him in game to a certain extent.
I
think he was probably their best player. So I don't think. Overall, it's so tight to that post. I think, and he's got the entire goal to go at. It's not like he's coming at him from a particular angle, is it? He's in line with post. So maybe, but I think it's being really picky if you're saying it.
Fair enough.
I think he got his angles right. I thought it just closed it as much as he could, spread out.
Yeah.
But like I say, when you see it from the hand, you see it goes outside the post and comes back in again.
Yeah, that's it. It's a really nice.
It's not quite the Roberto Carlos. Do you remember that one?
Free kick. Yeah.
There was a kid getting out of the way of it 20 feet to side at goal.
They were amazing. I've never seen it like that since. Cardiff got a free kick, didn't they? And they went low to the front post. Do you think that shows what teams think of Melier? Do you think that they see that as a big weakness in our arm?
Johnny said that.
Well, yeah. I'll get you banned if I go over what I done.
Big fan of Melier, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, I think that's another position we could have done with. I think, but then again, you can't knock his stats. You can't knock his stats at all in the Championship.
Right, he's at 5 clean sheets now. 4 clean sheets this season.
In the Championship, he's rated the highest best goalkeeper clean sheets.
Barker said that he's the best keeper in the Championship. No problem.
Still can't catch a ball though.
No, he did. He caught one. He did catch one.
Yeah,
it were in the air for about half an hour, but he definitely caught it.
I used to hate that, when I played rugby. When you try to catch the kick, I was so bad at that. I've got no coordination. Like, I'm rubbish at sports. Like, very poor.
Play rugby. I'm so much of a fanny playing rugby.
I briefly played in the same team as Danny Maguire as a kid, but obviously didn't have even a fraction of his ability. So anyway,
Danny Ward that used to play
Did
for
you?
the yeah, and he were good at that age, and he'd just flatten you, no problem.
Yeah. All the best players.
About me, I was just quick. I had no about me, so if I got into a tackle, he would just shrug you off, and he were gone.
I wasn't even quick. I was just sort of there. But yeah, back to the game. Ramazani had a chance at a second, didn't he? And he went straight at the keeper with that one. And I was watching that thinking the Nonto school of finishing.
Yeah.
Powerful, but straight at him.
Exactly the same as Barry, that.
Yeah. That's what Nonto did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating when you do one of them, isn't it? Because it's like you should score. It should be a goal. But yeah. But I mean, he looked good, didn't he? He looked good to say it was his first start.
Yeah, I thought it fitted in real well. I thought, like I say, he was another one who he wanted in this one position all the time. He was middle, he was out wide. Sometimes he was like played behind Drew a couple of times.
Yeah.
He just wanted the ball. That's like nice and refreshing. Somebody who wanted the ball all the time.
Yeah. Do you think, Gilly, it's good that with Solomon out, we're able to just carry on and win a game, and it makes it not look like a big miss, and it removes maybe a psychological barrier that might have been there if we'd not done all right without him?
Yeah, yes. I think the fact that for me, up to this point, he'd been our best player, or at least our most creative player. It's a bit of a gimme, the opposition that we had. But over the course of a season, a manager's going to be pushing to making decisions and swapping people out because they're going to get banned or injured or whatever else, for whatever reason. So, I think that it favoured us in that sort of respect, and it was a nice game to bring somebody into. But equally, he's then got to pick that up and take that chance, and he's got to, and I feel like he did. I think the other thing I would say is he seems really popular with the squad. Right from we were sat down near where the players warm up at last home game, and no, we weren't home game before. But it all might have been, I think it was
the last home game,
No, last home game with Burnley one. We were sat. You know where the warm up from the west stand.
Was it a home game? You've thrown me, Gilly. Sorry, it wasn't a home game, Hull, wasn't it? I went to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm so ill. I don't know what day it is. I'm really anyway. Sorry.
We were sat towards the front of the west stand at the Cop end, and they were all warming up. You could see the camaraderie in the squad. And when he were getting ready to come on, everybody were, patting him on the back, geeing him up and all of that sort of stuff. And it wasn't, you could, given, Johnny said it, given the pressure on them this season, you could be forgiven them being really insular and kind of silo mentality and thinking, right, I've got to be on it, I've got to be concentrating, I've got to do my job and all of that sort of stuff. And do you know what? They seemed really relaxed and just bigging each other up. And I think that, that's a big deal, especially coming into a new squad, coming into a new country. I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And it looks good.
Yeah, and it's good. You want to see that, don't you? And we maybe worried a bit that we'd lose some of that with Georgie going, because he seemed like the life and soul of it, didn't he? But it's nice to see that the spirit's carried on, and if anything, maybe they're stronger because they're up against it a little bit this year.
Maybe so.
I reckon, Johnny.
Yeah. You've always got to have that, that big group together, where you're all mates.
Yeah. And you need a bit of us against the world, don't you?
Yeah, all go out together. That's what I liked, with the Bielsa side. It was just pure. Everybody, nobody got left out. They all went out.
That's it, yeah.
You had your main group of Coops, Dallas, Ayling, Pat. You had your, but they all just made sure everybody was involved. Then the new signers came in straight away, get you involved, all go out for a meal, and that's what it seems like this side. I think it's a good crowd. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's probably something that we could have missed with the old guard going. That sort of group of senior players welcoming new people in, but it looks like the lads at the club now have kind of picked up the mantle, and everyone seems pretty happy.
Yeah.
Even Farker seems pretty happy.
He showed a bit of frustration from time to time, hasn't he? But yeah, no, I think there is quite a bit of that. Had it not worked, then he'd have come under a lot of fire. There'd have been a lot. It would have been, why on earth are you playing Gruev and Amper doing the midfield together? We need more legs in there. We need more attacking momentum coming from midfield, etc., etc. It'd have been, why is your shape all wrong? Because your fullbacks are too attacking. Nobody ever said that about Bielsa, even though it was Alioski crossing to Ayling and the open box. So
banging goals in.
Yeah, but it's because it was to the benefit of the team, and you could see that. So I think if the result doesn't go your way, you might get a bit of stick and a bit of flack for it. But very similar, I guess, to him laying down his marker when he were talking about Rutter and Perrault and who was a number 9 and who was a number 10. You live and die by your words as a manager, but you live and die by your results. And if you're getting the results, nobody questions what you're doing.
No, exactly. You can do whatever you want as long as you're winning games.
Well, that's my point from Saturday. We play shit, but you get points. You take points all day.
Yeah, you do. And you can only beat what's in front of you. And the smart he'd say, you can only piss with dick you've got. What can you do? But yeah, I mean, White Snake Bites has joined us all the way from NZ.
Right, thanks for the show, lads. See you next week.
He's yeah. we're not going yet, mate. But he's missed a bit about the 10 where we all said we did need one. But hopefully he'll not be too upset with us for wanting a 10. Yeah, I mean, from there I made a few notes about a few things, and I noticed sort of Bogle did one of his nice crosses from the line across for Aronson, who probably should have done better. He's good at those. He's good at the crosses and stuff. But what did you think of his overall game, Gilly? Do you think he had a good game, or do you think you were a bit too slack in places?
Do you remember Carl dubbing in ball watching Bogle?
Yeah.
I think if we don't get promoted this season, that might come back and haunt us, because he does do that, and he does get caught out of position. I think positionally, what you need Rodon tearing strips off him constantly, all the time. I think the problem that you've got there is that Rodon's stupid. Now, he's a capable player, but he's stupid. He's good at his own job, and he's fast. So if he gets himself into bother, he can get himself out of bother. And it's a massive deal having somebody that's got legs alongside Stroik, because Stroik can't read a game and he's slow. So the fact that he's good in the tackle and he's good in the air, but you've got somebody that can do his running for him, is great, but he can't do the running for everybody. So Bogle needs to be a bit more alive. And I think when he comes up against, if he comes up against some quality opposition on the wings, I think that'll be his test. And yeah, for me, I think defensively unsound. But if you've got, but ultimately, I think that's also why you end up playing with two DMs. You got two centre backs, two defensive midfielders, because your wingers, your width is coming from your fullbacks, and they both are getting forward. You know, Bogle, all right, one dive, one penalty win. But you mentioned the cutback from Firpo, and he was on the byline, the attacking byline. Yeah, we are getting them forward, and so you need some form of stability in the middle. But so I think what Farke is trying to do there is try and take some of the defensive responsibilities away from the fullbacks, because he knows that's not their strength.
Possibly,
and if it's not their strength, it actually means it's their weakness, doesn't it? Because if it's not your strength,
I guess so.
It's the weaker element of your game. But they have the attacking impetus, so we need to take advantage of that.
So basically, all the things that we got mad at Luke Ayling for not being good at anymore.
Yeah.
I love being a Leeds fan. It's ace, isn't it? What do you think of Bogle, Johnny? Do you like him, or do you think he's not up to it?
I don't mind him, but I don't think he's a defender. He's not your bog standard right back. I think he's more of he's a wing back, in it. He's like a poor winger. You know,
I think a lot of wing backs are, though. Yeah, I think the players who want to be wingers but are maybe not quite tricky enough, so they play wing back.
It's Firpo from 2 or 3 years ago.
That's maybe a bit harsh.
Yeah, but he couldn't defend the shit either, could he? So,
well, no, he couldn't.
So, yeah, I want him to do well. I really do. When we signed him, I thought that's not a bad signing. That's quite a cool signing. Taking one from one of your rivals. But, he's defending for me sometimes. He's thinking, well, fucking hell.
Oh, here he is. Danny's here.
Scab.
Riff Raff's in.
I know.
Paul Brennan said Jaden Bogle's a good lad. I think he will get better. I hope so. Paul. I actually quite like him. To be
fair, he did play in the Premier League, and Sheffield United wanted to keep him, so he's got some of them.
I quite like him. He's been a little off it at times, but I'm giving him benefit of doubt at the moment for being in a new club and a new system, and I'm hoping that once he settles properly, he'll show us a bit more. I think there's ability there. Yeah, definitely ability there, and he won us a penalty.
Yeah. When do we start calling him League One Jaden?
He don't really flow, does it? He don't really flow.
No.
I can't even think of anything off the top of my head that'd work.
Junior Jaden.
Junior Jaden. Good God. Don't start that off.
Honestly, right. I remember I was in Cheese Wedge, I was talking to Gail, and I just went at one point, I went, have you realised how many J sounds of names we've got in our side? And honestly, I don't know where it came from, but we've got Joe Rodon, we've got Jaden Bogle, we've got Joe Rothwell, we've got Matteo Joseph. They just kept coming. Dan James. There's loads of them. Never thought of it before, but there you go. That's the sort of thing we get up to when we're playing shit.
That's you got to amuse yourself with something.
That was Portsmouth game, I think.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Another one that I wasn't able to go to. It's been a bit crap.
Oh,
for me.
You did well missing that one, pal.
Well, I missed that and I missed Burnley.
Yeah, I want that.
It's your fault.
Probably picked the right games, but yeah, it could be my fault. Who would have thought I'd bit Lucky Charm? Eh? Me? I know I get accused of being same.
Hang on, here we go. Scooby's saying Gelhart, but you don't need to do that. His name's Joffy. It's another J.
That's true, yeah. We mentioned Stroike's terrible penalty, which is nothing to write home about. And then we got onto the Peru goal, which I thought were a cracking finish.
Yeah.
I did note, though, that Nonto looked a bit annoyed that he didn't get played it. I mean, they want to score goals, don't they? But you'd think he'd be celebrating when it goes in.
Yeah, sometimes I look for that sometimes, like other players' reactions.
To see what they're doing.
Yeah, it's literally off. God.
Who were it that scored and went off to one corner and everyone else went the other way? Which one was
that?
Was that Aronson?
No.
I can't remember. I do know the goal you're on about. I can't remember.
Yeah, you know what I mean, don't you?
Pat Bamford against Leicester, where Dan James took the free kick.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, I liked that. It was good fun, that. But yeah, I mean, we won the game. Not the best performance, I don't think, but we got the job done. You said before, Johnny, you don't think we needed to be any better, which is fair enough, possibly. Do you think that's the case, Gilly? Do you think they just operated at the level they need to operate at? And
Joel Peru, Jay. Jay.
Yeah.
We'll get a text in the group chat later on from somebody else.
James,
he'll be thinking about this all night now.
I'd say, yeah. There's loads of them, honestly. More than half at side. Anyway, sorry, what were your question?
I don't even know now. I think I said, do you agree with what Johnny said, that they were as good as they needed to be and just did what they needed to? I mean, or do you think it were just a bit of a crap performance?
If we turned up with, it's very, very challenging to play against a side that's so much poorer than you. Yeah. Often they'll drag you down to their level, and you'll end up misplacing passes. Tanaka came on, and I don't know if you've seen this stat. He completed 25 out of 25 passes. Now,
did he?
Yeah. Now the man that never failed, never tried anything new. So that might be in playing safe, but at the same time, you've got to be tidy. And for me, there is a balance somewhere between Tanaka not giving the ball away a single time and Brendan Aronson giving the ball away 22 times. I think if you can find a good blend of that, where Aronson's a bit tidier and Tanaka's a bit less conservative, let's say. Yeah, it's always good to be less conservative. You can be in a position where you're impressing yourself on the game without it being too loose play. But it is a challenge to play against somebody that's so poor. And ultimately, in the past, those are the games that we've come unstuck in. So, you take it.
Yeah,
absolutely, you would.
I was like saying, I thought there was that poor. There was we didn't have to get out of first gear. I didn't think we even had to start the car. It was awful, absolute shite. And you can see why people kicking off saying, "Oh, we did score 20 odd goals." You know what I mean? But, they're been away.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting point from Ian Ward here, one of the comments that we started. It's just saying the more worrying thing is you're playing against 10 men, you boss possession, and you make your first sub on 84 minutes, missed opportunity to give players minutes. Do you agree with that, Gilly? Or do you think that we tried to keep doing what we were doing because we believed it would bring another goal?
So the two ways to look at it. So I did say I would have liked Tanaka on a bit earlier. We were playing with two defensive midfielders, but they weren't doing anything against us at all. And I thought it would be low risk if you make that change of Gruev out. And I quite a few people were calling for Gruev to be dropped because she can't drop Ampadu because he's the captain, ultimately. But Gruever was one of our better players in the previous game. So you're thinking, actually, if you're going to drop a player for the positional, but actually he's played really well. So there were some dynamics there. I did want Tanaka on a bit sooner because I think he's a bit more progressive with the ball, and he's a bit more dynamic while on the ball than Gruev. But ultimately, if you are only one goal up and you make changes, and then it comes unstuck, then you go, shit, I shouldn't have done that. So I think...
and then everyone hammers you for that.
Exactly. So it's easy to be critical with hindsight. And, getting minutes in legs is important, but then you also go back to Marsh putting... who was it on? Rodrigo, and him getting injured.
Destroying our season.
Striker for the next 15 games or whatever it was.
Shit,
so,
wanker.
Yeah, when you don't need to make a change and things are going well, fair enough. But for me, I would have made a change, not the wholesale changes. I think within 6 minutes we made 5 changes.
Or something.
Yeah. And we did have plenty of run at it, and we scored before they had a man sent off, and we scored at the death. And there were 70 minutes there where we didn't hurt him enough. And I think you can change the game without the wholesale changes. So I think it's fair to say 84 minutes was too late.
I'd agree with that.
But I wouldn't have made the raft of subs that we made all close to each other. It would have just been 1, maybe 2.
Would you have gone earlier than that, Johnny?
Like Gil was saying, the game was in control. It was just so easy.
Yeah.
They won't lay a finger on us, and then
like a training game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like a pre-season game to me. That was like arrogant.
Yeah.
Apart from the fucking
more about them.
Yeah, but yeah, I would have liked seeing Tanaka on a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I think one of our players this season so far has been Gruev. I think he's just been so steady, and he hasn't done nothing wrong. But you don't need 2 defensive midfielders at times.
Yeah.
No, agreed, and I think we've probably been over that and all agreed on that.
Yeah.
Including people in comments, really. I'm going to fire through some comments before we finish up here. We've been waffling nearly an hour. There's a few starred ones. Steve Brown says, Ruta gave the ball away an average 18 times every game last season, so what's the difference? I think that's regarding Aronson.
I imagine it is.
I feel that Ruta probably contributed more good than Aronson has so far as well as losing the ball.
Gilly with his American hatred. That's what that is.
It's his burner account. Speaking of Americans, we've got Roland Buttonubs from was it Albuquerque?
Who knows perfectly well I don't hate Americans, by the way.
He does, yeah, because he's been on the piss with us.
He has.
Aronson's first, second, third touch is all trash, but he runs his ass off and plays defence. Pirro doesn't play so much off the ball.
Oh, come on, say it right. How would Roland say that?
Which bit?
He plays defence.
Defense. Yeah, I did think that as I read it, but I thought I'm not going to say it like that. Defense. Defense. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Aronson can be all right. It's just it can also be terrible, and you just never know which one you're going to get, and he's too inconsistent to rely on for me. That's just somebody that should be someone to lean on if there's no one else.
I think yes, absolutely. Much like Rothwell. He's not a player that you're looking at to start every game this season because he's just not that level. But I think
you hate Rothwell, though, don't you?
No, absolutely not. He's just not good enough to start for us. Seems like a decent guy. I don't know where he's from, but he seems like a decent guy. He's just not that good. He's decent with the free kick, but. Ultimately, you need a bit more than that. So, I think when it comes down to Aronson and so on, it's fine to have somebody that's going to run around a lot, but they're not going to get you enough out of games, especially when what you really need is somebody to pick that pass and be incisive and be decisive and take grab a game and drag your team over the line. those plays, and it's not just Aronson. You know, Rothwell's another one that's just he's not at it. He's not good enough. He's tidy and he's decent and he's all right and he's good with the free kick. But he's James Ward-Prowse of the Championship. He's not more. He's never going to be more than that.
Yeah. He's just steady, isn't he? That's all. He's just steady player.
Just word. Yeah.
I've completely forgotten what I was going to say now.
I can't find it, but I still had the little card that Roland handed out. That's actually his profile picture, and I can't find it. It's doing me head in.
I had one around here somewhere, but I don't know where the hell it's gone.
Anyway,
yeah,
he's a good guy, and he's American, so
he is. He's great,
Johnny.
I think that when the old front line is fit, Aronson's the player that comes out first, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the guy that goes straight to the bench for me. So
I don't think he is.
No, he's got to be. For me, he is.
No. Yeah, and fair enough. I don't think Farker would.
Maybe not, but if you start using him on 80 minutes or whenever, when teams are knackered, he can run around like an headless chicken and he might get some results.
Yeah, but the question now is, let's say Solomon's fit for next game. Ramazani scored in this game. Now you're looking at can you really drop a player that's just made his debut and scored on his debut? Can you drop him? So now, if Solomon's fit, you've got Ramazani one side, you've got Nonto the other side, you've got Aronson through the middle. And I don't think he drops Aronson.
I don't think he does, though, in that case, because he'd bring Solomon on as a sub, I think, and then he might put him in the next game. I don't think after injury anyone goes straight into the starting lineup with Farker. Not unless
especially when they're a cock like Solomon.
I don't know what you mean. He's great. Anyway,
I said a crock.
I thought you called him a cock. I was like, all right, another one that Gilly don't like.
A crock.
We just get so used to it on here, Gilly, abusing Leeds players that we don't question it anymore.
No, absolutely not. No, I rate him as a footballer. It's his fitness I was calling into question.
Fair enough. Steve Brown says breaking down a team that's gone down to 10 men isn't easy when the opposition has deep banks of 5 and 4 behind the ball. Man City struggled to do it yesterday as well.
Man City struggled to do it yesterday against Arsenal, the least profligate defence there's been in the history of football, if you listen to Arsenal fans.
There's levels.
Yeah, there's levels. I get his point.
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
Man City struggled against 10 men when it were us.
Yeah.
we weren't a Champions League squad. But ultimately, those times are few and far between, and we absolutely should have battered Cardiff.
What are you saying there, Johnny?
I can't remember now.
No, I tell you what, mate. If you were like a permanent member of the pod, that'd be your clip on next season's intro. Yeah, no, Steve's got a good point. It is hard sometimes, but that's the job of our players then, and the manager to find a way through that. That's what we want to see, because that's the problem we had last season. We don't want to be doing that again. We've got another one from Arthur Bushby. He says he had 2-0 leads, 7-1, thanks Stroik. So he's well happy about that penalty being missed.
Somebody had 3-0 with Stroke to score for
50-1. Yeah. He'll have been seething.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've been getting hold of him. Listen, mate.
That's what they said.
This is my bet.
That's what they said on Square Ball. Write him a letter. He can send you 50 quid reimbursement.
Yeah.
And Arthur Bushby, he says, Man City struggled against 10 men and Ward stop moaning. Fair enough. We don't want to be kicking off in the comments, boys.
Just on that and thinking about dealing with players and so on. I don't know if you saw it, but it was translated, so it might not have been verbatim, and I've not gone and fact-checked it or what have you. I've just read the reports. But there were a referee that were refereeing one of the internationals, and it was the semi-final, and I think it might have been the American Continental Cup. And he should have booked Messi, and it would have meant Messi missing the final. And he said to Messi, "That's a yellow card. I'm not going to give you a yellow card because then you'll miss final, but it'll cost you your shirt."
What?
I mean, that's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's a bit dodgy.
So, it is a bit dodgy. It's a lot dodgy.
Got one from Danny here, just asking if Puro does the same again this weekend. Is there a combo for Puro to start over MJ?
That's just because Danny hates Matteo Joseph, that's all.
Does he? Does he not like him?
Yeah, he thinks he's a prick.
Joseph hating bastard.
Yeah, he told me.
That's some of these people, just no idea. Right, I think we've waffled enough and talked enough crap about a really poor game. Cheers for coming on with us, Johnny. Cheers for joining me, Gilly, as usual, and everyone in the comments. Have we got anything any of us want to say before we finish up?
We got a bit of an Andy Man Club message. If you want me to
fire away, mate.
Yeah. So the social events that we've got. So with the weekly Recovery Runners group run, that's Wednesday evenings. So they meet at 5:45 for the 6 o'clock start. They meet up at 5 Ways at the Recovery Academy on Westfield Road in Woodhouse. And there's a monthly walk and talk is on Sunday, the 6th of October at Burley Park this time. So meet at the entrance on the corner of Cardigan Lane and Parkview Road at 11 a.m. for a short walk, followed by coffee at Culture on Kirkstall Road. And head over to Andy's Man Club Leeds Facebook for more info. Good stuff.
If anybody wants to, Johnny? If anybody wants to buy me a beer on Saturday, it's the last game for my birthday, so...
Hey, oh, has got a shit tick this week, my little sparrowfat.
Is that just for Johnny?
No up, mate. I'll get you a beer, mate. Don't worry. I couldn't resist. Right, cheers, lads. We'll call it a night. And thanks everyone for watching. And check us out. I think we're back tomorrow, unless anything changes. So
yeah.
We shall see you then.
Yeah,
cheers, pals.
Yeah, boys.